This video is sponsored by Cook Unity. To experience chef-quality meals every week delivered right to your door, go to cookunity.com/companyman or enter code companyman before checkout for 50% off your first week. The link is in the description. Sheetz, spelled with a Z, is one of America's fastest growing convenience store chains, easily identified on the side of the road by their signature red coloring and uniquely shaped logo. It is a privately owned company that is not required to report any financial figures, but according to Forbes estimates, their revenue has more than doubled over the past few years to $14 billion, making them the 27th largest private company in the country and the second largest from their home state of Pennsylvania. Those are ridiculous numbers and become even more impressive when you consider that Sheetz is a chain of only 700 stores that are located entirely within 6 states. 300 of them are in Pennsylvania, with the other states being Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, Ohio, and North Carolina. They have a strong, dedicated following within that region, but statistically, most of the people watching this do not have a Sheetz anywhere near them and have likely never even been there. That may be changing soon. In this series, I do my best to find companies that give good reason to believe that they'll be successful in growing geographically, potentially expanding near you. They have already been creeping their way west, recently opening a bunch of locations in Columbus, Ohio, including their 700th location, before making their way into Dayton and Cleveland, and have announced plans to open their first store in Michigan. On top of that, they've invested $145 million into building this distribution facility that will service those new regions. Early on, the original founder, Bob Sheetz, had a goal of opening 10 stores that he finally accomplished in 1972 after 20 years of business, all of them still in Pennsylvania. His next goal was to reach 100 stores that he accomplished after another decade, and as soon as he reached that one, he retired from the company and left his brother in charge. In 2023, their new CEO, Travis Sheetz, said that their new goal was to reach 1,000 locations. Now, based on their history of goal setting, combined with their recent trends and other factors that I will talk about, I think they might be even more aggressive and grow well beyond that. In this video, I have identified what I believe to be 5 of the biggest reasons behind their growth up until this point that will potentially help fuel their success in the future. The first of which may be a little unexpected, but I'm going to say Wawa. If you are not familiar, it is a competing convenience store chain, also from Pennsylvania, that is amazingly similar to Sheetz. In fact, Wawa is that biggest private company from Pennsylvania. I made an entire video about Wawa, so I don't want to spend too much time telling you about them, but I promise, if you watch both of these videos, the similarities become apparent. The companies themselves have been pretty friendly with each other. In the past, members of each family have been board members for the other company and have worked together to build their brands by sharing ideas with each other. But the people of Pennsylvania have helped create this rivalry between them. It's like everyone has to choose. Are you a Wawa person or a Sheetz person? In that last video I made, I did not even mention Sheetz, but the comment section is filled with people comparing the two stores and making arguments for their personal favorites. It can get intense. I look at it as a Magic Johnson, Larry Bird type situation, where there is a friendly yet serious competition. The rivalry elevates both sides by bringing attention to them and motivating each other to do better. So please, while keeping it calm, let me know which side you're on and why you prefer that store over the other. Next up on my list is simply having a positive image. Much like Wawa, Sheetz is one of those places that just seems to have a great reputation. Part of that is probably due to their charitable efforts, like Sheetz for the Kids, that mainly works to provide presents to underprivileged children during the holidays, or raising money for the Special Olympics for over 30 years now. Multiple times, they have made the list of People magazine's 100 companies that care. Sheetz has also been placed on Fortune's list of the 100 best companies to work for. They have actually been on there 8 times in a row, peaking at number 33 in 2022. If you happen to be one of their 24,000 employees, I would love to hear about your experience and how it compares to their reputation, but they are known for providing competitive wages, quarterly bonuses, insurance and retirement benefits, stock ownership plans. Happy employees create a positive atmosphere within the store, leading to positive customer experiences that keep people coming back. One thing that stands out to me is in 2004, 400 of their customers got sick with salmonella poisoning after eating tomatoes that they got from Sheetz. As I'm sure you already know, this kind of thing can severely harm a business because people get hesitant hesitant to eat there. We have seen it on this channel multiple times. Well, the management from Sheetz is typically praised for how well they handled that situation. They immediately got rid of the infected tomatoes, sanitized the equipment, kept the public up to date on everything. I guess it was found to be the supplier's fault, so they quickly got a new supplier. Their sales of fresh food did fall for a little bit, as you would expect, but there was virtually no long-lasting effects for the business. I only mention this here because 20 years later, something that could have been detrimental to them is looked back on as mostly something to praise the management for, further contributing to their positive image. I realize this is a broad reason that could be looked at from so many different angles, but since I am already talking about the management here, I'm going to move on to the next reason, the Sheetz family. The company technically has roots going back to the early 1900s dairy industry. Jerry Sheetz married a woman whose father owned a large dairy company that would primarily deliver milk to people's homes. By the 1940s, refrigeration was starting to make home milk delivery less common, so Jerry thought that it would be smart to open a chain of 5 dairy stores. In 1952, Jerry's son Bob Sheetz bought one of those stores that was located in Altoona, Pennsylvania, transformed it into a convenience store, originally called Quick Shopper, but in 1983, as they were approaching 100 of them, the name of it was changed to Sheetz. I think it's interesting that the Sheetz family used to spell their name with an S at the end, like you might expect, but Jerry Sheetz, the father of the founder, changed it to a Z in the 1930s. I guess he was at a dairy convention, they had it misspelled on his name tag, and he liked it so much that he legally changed it. And that was probably a good thing because it made them stand out, become much more searchable, and they have used that Z pretty heavily in their branding over the years, like with their Sheetz bakery, for example. I have the Sheetz family on my list because it is undeniable that they have been a big part of their success, having been in charge of the company throughout its entire 70-plus year existence. Their current CEO, Travis Sheetz, is the 5th member of the family to lead the company, and most of their other key positions have been filled by other members of the Sheetz family. They have full control of decision-making, and being so closely connected with the company is motivation to run things with a lot more pride and care. They say, when your name is over the door, it's different. Sheetz is still family-owned, and this is the core of the company. The fact that a family is at the helm together creates an environment where senior management genuinely cares about its employees and customers. Take that how you will, but it is a structure that you don't commonly see with companies of this size that I think in many ways has worked to its advantage. My next reason is convenience. I mean, it is a convenience store, right? So of course it's got to be on the list, but it's not all as straightforward as you might expect. I mean, sure, early on it was all pretty typical because they were mostly following the lead of 7-Eleven and all the others. All in the 1970s, they started selling gasoline, they started selling coffee, and they started being open for 24 hours. All conveniences that still remain at Sheetz today, on top of some that are less expected, like ATMs within the store that don't have a surcharge fee. They have provided that since they made this deal with PNC Bank in 2013. Cigarettes and liquor is another one, probably not the most wholesome way to draw in customers, but they have sold cigarettes at really low prices. They even used to have their own brand of them called Jack's, and they have petitioned against Pennsylvania laws that restricted their liquor sales. By the way, the laws were changed in 2016, and they've been capitalizing on it ever since. Also for convenience, electric vehicle charging. They started installing them back in 2012 before most others, and currently have them at around 100 of their locations, with plans to install even more. Most of these tactics don't necessarily make them all that much money, but are more designed to get people to the stores where they will hopefully buy more profitable items, like sandwiches for example. Which leads me to the final reason on my list, made to order. See, back in the 1980s, food from a gas station had a negative reputation. I realize it's not exactly highly praised today in many cases, but back then it was like a joke. Hot dogs that had been sitting there all day, and old pre-wrapped sandwiches, and really, Sheetz wasn't all that different. They had become known for their 2 for 99 cents hot dog promotion. Well, in 1986, shortly after founder Bob Sheetz retired and his brother Steve took over, sales went flat, and part of their new plan to revive things was to start selling some better food. Their initial idea was to sell freshly fried chicken, but after testing it at a few stores, it was proving to be impractical. It would take a while to make, it would start to go bad soon after they made it, so they would have to sell it fast, and the fryers were a big investment. So a manager at one of those test locations suggested selling sandwiches that were made to order. It was another popular food that didn't have all those same drawbacks. And the early tests were promising. They showed that they were selling 3.5 times more of them compared to the pre-made sandwiches from before. In short, Sheetz became somewhat of of a convenience store pioneer for selling fresh food made to order, and a lot of the others have started doing it since. By the 1990s, they invested $14 million to add made-to-order sandwich stations in all of their stores and became one of the first companies to use touchscreens for people to place their orders. I mean, they started installing them in 1993, when most people had never even seen a touchscreen before. Today, Sheetz continues to be known for their fresh sandwiches and salads and various fried foods, probably more than anything else. In 2012, they came out with a fitting slogan that said, "Just because we don't look like a restaurant doesn't mean we're not one." And if you look at even the logo, it will typically say fresh food and made to order right on it. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about Sheetz? Have you ever been there before? And if not, has this video made you want to visit? I guess the big question is, do you think that Sheetz has what it takes to expand beyond those 6 or 7 states, or do you think that they would be more successful staying confined right where they are? It's probably going to be a while before anything major happens, if it ever does, but I don't know, just keep a lookout and maybe don't be too surprised if you see one popping up near you. And any other thoughts you have about Sheetz, leave them in the comments. I'd like to hear what you have to say. Cook Unity is today's sponsor, and I have to say, it is an exciting moment when I get these meals delivered because everything has been delicious. I mean, these are some of the best chefs in the country handcrafting them in local micro kitchens, not large production facilities. In other words, about 1,000 times better than anything I could possibly cook. I don't know what I am doing in the kitchen, yet I have been having chef quality dining experiences right at home. Like this one, the Thai pineapple chicken fried rice with toasted cashews. That is one of my recent favorites. There was some spice to it, but in a good way, and the pineapple was the perfect addition to it. There are hundreds of dishes to choose from, and the menu is constantly updated. I look forward to just selecting the meals, scrolling through everything, and reading the descriptions. There is a lot of great stuff on there, and to get started, all you have to do is go to cookunity.com/companyman or enter code companyman for 50% off your first week. Thank you for watching.